Today, you are going to hear a story about a beautiful young lady who had amazing courage. Long ago, the city of Jerusalem was invaded and destroyed, and the Jewish people were taken as slaves into Persia. Now, after many years, the Jewish people were allowed to return home to Jerusalem, but many of them stayed, even though the Persian people were not very kind to them. One of the Jews that stayed in Persia was a young girl named Esther. Esther was an orphan, and she was raised by her cousin Mordecai, who loved her like a daughter. Now the king of Persia decided to have a feast, and he invited his wife to the feast, but she didn't want to come. Now this, of course, made the king very angry, so he sent her away and decided to find a new queen. When all of the girls of the land were gathered into one place, the king looked them over and said, "This is easy," and he chose Esther as his queen. This is an easy choice. I choose this one. My name is Esther. I am honored to be your queen. Later that evening, Esther meets with her cousin Mordecai. Mordecai, did you hear? The king has chosen me to be queen. Yes, my child, you have been chosen, but do not forget that you are a Jew. Many people in this country hate the Jews. You must keep it a secret. I will not tell anyone, not even the king. So Esther becomes queen and goes to live in the palace, and she is a kind, good queen. But her cousin Mordecai comes to warn her of some danger. Esther, I overheard 2 of the king's guards talking. They plan to kill the king. You must warn him. Do not worry. I will tell the king. So Esther tells the king of the plot to assassinate him and saves his life. The king is so grateful, both to Mordecai and to Esther. Now, during this same time, the king promotes a new man to power. His name is Haman. My name is Haman. I am a great person in the palace. Therefore, all servants must bow down to me. I will not bow down to you. I know how much you hate the Jews and how you treat my people. You must bow down to me. I will not bow down to you. Haman is so mad that Mordecai won't bow down to him that he develops a hatred for all of the Jews, and he develops a plan. And he decides to take his plan to the king. My king, I have found that there are some people in your kingdom that do not obey the laws. Please allow me to wipe them out, both young and old, little children and women, all in one day. If you do this, your majesty, I will pay a large sum of money to the king. Everyone should obey the laws. Do what you think is best. So Haman writes a decree that on a certain day, all Jews in the kingdom will be put to death. Esther, only you can help us. Haman is going to kill all of the Jews. You must do something. I want to help, but if I go before the king without him asking to see me, he will kill me. If I go, I will surely die. But you must do something. Okay, I will do this. If I perish, I perish. But please, have everyone fast and pray for me. I need God's help. With everyone's prayers and the help of Almighty God, I can do this. Yes, Esther, all of the Jews will fast and pray for you. After 3 days of fasting and prayer, Esther puts on her finest clothes and goes before the king. Now, if the king wants to, he can put her to death. So she stands there scared to death. And then the king holds out his golden scepter and asks her to come forward. Esther, it is good to see you. Oh, ask for anything you want, even if it is half of the kingdom, and it shall be yours. Let the king and Haman come to a banquet I have prepared. Then I will tell you. Haman was thrilled to be invited to eat with Esther and the king. Servants, I have been invited to eat with the king and queen, but that Mordecai will still not bow down to me. Build a gallows so that I may hang him from it tomorrow. The servants get busy building the gallows, and the king goes to bed that night. But something's troubling the king. He's remembering a man that saved his life. Royal messenger, I recall a man named Mordecai who saved my life. Was he ever rewarded for this? At that moment, Haman comes into the court, hoping to speak to the king about Mordecai and wanting to put him to death. Haman, what should be done for a man that makes the king happy? Haman smiles because he thinks the king is talking about him. Oh, well, I think that this person, whoever they might be, should be dressed in royal clothing, placed on top of the Majesty's horse, and taken throughout the streets of the town with someone shouting praises to them and telling everyone how much the king honors them. That is what I would do for them. Great idea. Quickly, Haman, go get the Jew Mordecai and do all of this for him. Haman was shocked. There was nothing to do but obey. So he put Mordecai up on a horse with the finest clothing and walked him around town shouting praises to him. Haman was embarrassed and angry. So after he was done, he decided there's nothing to do but get dressed and go to the banquet. So he does so, and he gets ready to go to dinner. Esther, this food is wonderful, but you still haven't told me what I can do for you. If it pleases the king, please do not kill me or my people, for we are sentenced to death. I don't understand. Who wants to kill you or the Jews? The person is Haman. The decree he had you sign sentences all Jews, including me, your wife, to death. I know a royal decree cannot be overturned, but please, your majesty, will you allow the Jews to defend themselves on that day and fight back? What? Haman! You tricked your king! Take him away! The king was so angry at Haman that he had him sentenced to death on the gallows that he had built to kill Mordecai. So you see, because of the fasting and prayers of the Jews, the courage of Mordecai and Esther especially, the Jews were saved.